Thank you for waiting, everyone, and it's great to have you back again. You are joining the first day of the 2021 LUCI Asia Urban Lighting Workshop. And guess what? We have already come towards the end of today's program with only 2 more lectures left. The first lecture of the remaining 2 will be by Jang, Honorary Professor at Seoul National University of Science and Technology. Professor Jang will give an introduction to Korea Smart Lighting Association, or KoSLA. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Jang.
Good afternoon, or maybe a good evening for some countries. It's good to see you here in LUCI Asia Urban Lighting Workshop. My name is Jang, Jang, Honorary Professor of Seoul National University of Science and Technology, abbreviated in Seoul Tech. And I am an honorary president of Korean Institute of Illuminating and Electrical Installation Engineers, KIIEE, and in charge of Korea Smart Lighting Association, abbreviated KoSLA, that I want to introduce today as a chair. Today, I'm going to tell you on the issues of KoSLA. It will be presented in 3 parts. First, motivation and background for establishing KoSLA. And second, about Korea Energy Agency, which supports the KoSLA. And the last part is the introduction and the activities of KoSLA. The first part is on the motivation and the background of establishing the Korea Smart Lighting Association, abbreviated in KoSLA. The IEA, International Energy Agency, recently pronounced the net zero by 2050 in May 2021. A roadmap for the global energy sector. As the major source of global emissions, the energy sector holds the key to responding to the world's climate challenges. In the future, in the picture, a sector represented by color, yellow is transport. It takes about 20% or more of emissions. Purple is building, blue is electricity and heating, green is industry, and gray is other. Black arc in 2020 means whole circle, means about zero emissions, and the gray arc is not shown in 2020, it's on the 2050 right figure. It's not shown in 2020, and by 2050 makes the circle means below zero emission. According to this roadmap, the total CO2 emissions in 2020 is 33.9 gigaton, and makes a full black circle in the left picture. And the goal is making this CO2 emissions to zero by 2050. No black part in the right picture. Achieving net zero emissions by 2050 will require nothing short of the complete transformation of the global energy system. It's very hard. Let's see the IEA's Sustainable Development Scenario. The key milestones for the most critical sectors and the technologies are including renewables, energy efficiency, electrification, bioenergy, CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage. hydrogen and hydrogen-based fuels, behavioral changes, etc. In these factors, the energy efficiency accounts for 37% of the goal, the biggest, the largest. So thinking for the solution, from facts and some figure, energy efficiency is important. And the lighting sector shares 15% of global energy consumption, about 2,900 terawatt hour. According to the IEA 2019 Clean Energy Transition Program, this means 5% of total greenhouse gases. The indoor lighting consumes about 15% of building energy. Outdoor lighting takes 40% to 50% of municipal electricity consumption. Technologies have achieved the most progress in your country over the couple of years. Let's see the national policies for the net zero. It's given by United Nations map. The figure shows the status of the countries about commitment. The status are divided in 4 levels. None of commitment, net zero commitment, new or updated NDC, national determined contribution, and net zero commitment and new or updated NDC. Korea is in the last, strongest level. And according to the 2017 UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, U4E, the United for Efficiency, over 50 countries had adopted or were adopting MEPS and or labeling for lighting. MEPS stands for Mandatory Minimum Energy Efficiency Program. Korea also had adopted MEPS and labeling programs for high efficiency lighting. In European Union, the economy policy is transformed from linear to circular, as in the figure. The left side of the figure is the linear economy paradigm. Once the raw material has used, there is no recycling or reusing. And for the reuse economy paradigm, some of the waste can be used for production, and making less non-recycling waste. In a circular economy, the goal is making no non-recyclable waste. The LED lighting is suitable for circular economy. It's upgradable, replaceable, and future-proof. This means sustainable lighting. In European Union, from the study for high efficiency lighting by 2030, the cumulative electric energy saving will reach for the 267 terawatt hour by adopting eco-design and label 2021 program. On the other hand, if the regulations remain unchanged, the saving will be about 54 terawatt hour, the red line on the left figure. On the other hand, about 20% compared to the adopting former directives. Electricity saving will reach for the 267 terawatt hour by adopting eco-design and the label 2021 program. And the conventional means the 54 terawatt hour. The energy saving in the lighting sector is very important than ever. Let's see the efforts and the policies about energy saving in the lighting sector in Korea. In this part, I will introduce Korea Energy Agency, which supports KoSLA, and the major roles of KEA concerning LED lighting in Korea then introduce status, objective, and procedures of HEE, High Energy Efficiency, certification scheme, and above, the Smart LED certification scheme. As you can see on this slide, KEA is the governmental agency under the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy. We said this MOTIE, and was established in 1980, right after second oil shock. In terms of the total number of employees working together, it is most likely over 700 as of now. And the KEA has 4 headquarters, one new and renewable energy center, 12 local branches to implement the KEA's authentic critical activities. And these critical activities can be classified with energy efficiency and saving, new and renewable energy, and climate change response. Each of our activities has lots of projects, as you can see at the right side of the table. Also, each of project KEA has been performing is closely related to energy policy in Korea. Let's see the KEA's role on the LED lighting in Korea. As of now, KEA has been running the certification scheme of LED lighting since 2002. The total number of models certified is around 50,000. In the process of running certification scheme, amendment of the LED certification scheme is indispensable for this. KEA is reflecting the request from the LED business and field annually. In the scheme, the items related to the LED are 2, such as LED lighting, smart LED lighting, respectively. In particular, smart LED lighting was added to the HEE scheme in 2021, April, for the first time. When it comes to management of the certification scheme, KEA also designates, supervise LED testing agencies. Until now, 14 testing bodies were designated. I think the LED certification scheme is similar to the living things. What it means is that certification scheme needs to be updated periodically. For doing this, KEA are gathering the opinions from the LED interests and use it to upgrade scheme. These are about KEA's activities for LED certification scheme briefly. Obviously, medium-sized companies don't have enough capabilities to make initial market formation, and they are very weak in terms of financial foundation. So actually, the fundamental objective for operating this certification scheme is to support small, medium-sized companies for getting rid of these kinds of barriers that small companies have faced. Total number of items in the certification scheme is 23. Among them, LED-related items are 2, such as LED and smart LED lighting. And the procedure for HEE certification is simple. If manufacturers applies for HEE certification, KEA reviews the document that manufacturer submitted to KEA. If there is no problem, KEA issues certificates finally. This graph shows the status of HEE certification. If you look at the graph, horizontal axis means year, a vertical axis indicates the number of models certified. As you can see on the graph, LED certified has kept growing without dropping since 2013. The number of LED certified in 2018 over 4 times in 2013. Now, let me introduce new LED scheme briefly. As I mentioned previously, the smart LED lighting was added to the scheme in 2021. Technically, smart LED can be made up of LED lighting and ICT technology. I'm confident that through this ICT technology, the smart LED lighting could be the gateway to realize the human-centered lighting beyond the energy efficiency that we have been focusing on. Testing items of smart LED lighting, such as flicker, noise, correlated color temperature, etc., are introduced for supporting the new concept, namely human-centric lighting. These are about classification and test items of a smart LED scheme. In the scheme, smart LED lighting can be classified with a smart LED lamp, smart LED instrument, and a smart LED lighting system. Each of them has many testing items. Testing items have their own certification standard. To get HEE certification, it is mandatory to satisfy their certification standards. In the process of enacting the scheme for the smart LED lighting, we benchmarked the foreign policies like Energy Star and DLC reflected test report of LED lighting, gathered the opinions from LED industries. So KEA made the certification for the smart LED lighting. We made an association. The name of our association is Korea Smart Lighting Association, abbreviated KoSLA. I will introduce KoSLA and its structure and activities. The background of establishing KoSLA is a change in the lighting industry. From invention of incandescent lighting lamp to high efficiency LED lighting, there were a lot of energy savings in lighting sector. The first incandescent lamp introduced in Korea was 1887. The ministry made LED 1530 project in 28 and LED 2060 project in 2011. This means 2060 means any public institution must install LED luminaires for lighting, and this will take 60% of overall lighting by 2020. This project were conquered, and we achieved over 6% of LED lighting in Korea. As shown in the former slides, Korea has adopted many international conventions, policies, and paradigms. This makes the market growth of smart lighting or connected lighting. In May 2018, the first lighting expert in Korea meeting was held, and through a preparatory period in October, KoSLA was established by support of KEA. After that, KoSLA holds a general meeting, publishes newsletters, participates Korea Energy Show, institutes workshops, etc. The structure of the KoSLA, as is shown, under the steering committee, it has 3 divisions: standardization and infra division, R&D division, and the supply and activation division. And the supply and activation division has 3 subcommittees. These are market, value chain, and regulation. Each main division has its chair and secretary. The KOPT, Korean Optical Technical Institute, is in charge of General Secretary Organization. Total number of members are over 100, and including government-side industries, testing and certification parties, and non-profit organizations like universities and institutes. The goals and missions, action plans, and activities of each division will be presented when they are introduced. The slide shows the roles of some members. Most are the companies involved as a member of the supply and activation division. And the right side of the figure, the most of them are members of standardization and the infra division and R&D division. The vision of KoSLA is leading smart lighting companies and industry in Korea. And the goals of KoSLA are lighting market penetration up to 60% by 2040. We call this 40-60. And the energy saving is up to 70% compared to the conventional lighting system. This will be accomplished by co-works of 3 divisions. The activities of KoSLA are made of 4 major parts. Organize members of KoSLA, establish action items and agenda for each division, make support programs like high efficacy certification program, and lastly, we made terms and definitions for smart lighting. The first version issued in March 2019. Now, I will introduce each division's goals, plans, and activities. First, Standard and Infra Division. The goals are leading the global market lighting, global smart lighting market by supporting standardization, certification program, and infrastructure, and establish and operate standards and certification systems based on empirical data and track records. The action plans are including research and analysis of standards, demonstration, strategies. The activities include publishing the terms and definitions for smart lighting. It posted at March 26, 2019. Support making high efficacy certification program version 1.0. The categories are smart LED lamps, smart LED luminaires, and smart LED lighting systems. It is owned by MOTIE and operated by KEA. Participates to the various international standardization meetings, including IEC and ISO, CIE, etc. The next is R&D division, research and development. The goals are exchanging the competitiveness of the smart lighting industry with the innovative R&D and the demonstrations. This will be accomplished by discover and propose new R&D projects, establish a technical and product roadmap in smart lighting, publishing smart lighting handbook, and hold expert technical seminars and workshops. The action plans are organizing various members, regular and irregular meetings, especially for 2021. We will establish a technical and product roadmap in smart lighting. But we have over 3 months to left this year. The activities include several new R&D proposals for smart lighting, development and demonstration of smart lighting management systems, safety management platform of underground facility for public utilities, standardization and certification systems for public smart lightings. All of these projects is funded by government. And establish a technical and product of roadmap in smart lighting. And last division, the supply and activation division. The goals are supporting the smart lighting penetration of 60% by 2040 through advices on policies and regulations. The division prepares the mandatory program of smart lighting on public industry institutions. It supports the stakeholder communications and advocates the lighting industries and consider the ecosystems. The subcommittees improve the system, develop the market by collaboration between large-sized companies and small, medium-sized enterprises, and collaboration with the specifier and planning industry events. This is an example of a standard model of street lighting for Korea Land and Housing Corporation. This model developed by a member of SNA division. Smart street lighting can be constructed by clarifying the requirements of each element of the control system without violating the relevant regulations and laws. For wrap-up, I present the future plans and items of KoSLA by divisions. For standard and infra division, including marketing or base action plans for smart lighting and roadmap for standardization and certification. For R&D division, including establishes living lab-based track records and technical roadmap and product roadmap. For supply and activation division, including proposals of new systems and or programs and networking for various stakeholders. This is all I prepared for this conference. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Jang, for your lecture. And while our participants type in and send in their questions or comments they may have for Professor Jang, I have couple of questions for you, actually. 한국어로 제가 질문을 드리도록.
I'll be speaking in Korean, please. I ask for your understanding. First question. How is smart lighting being applied in the smart city policy currently being implemented in Korea?
Was Korean, but I'll answer for the English for your sake. A few cities in Korea include Seoul and Busan or Sejong. There are pilot projects of a smart city for a restricted area. And the main backbone or the main communication for data exchanges is using smart street lighting. Smart street lighting is a part of smart lighting. So that means smart lighting is applied in a smart city policies. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're better off speaking in English on the stage, right? So my next question for you is, how long would it take for the introduction of smart lighting to result in significant energy saving?
Yeah. The KoSLA is supported by KEA, and the KEA's the most important thing is energy saving. Energy saving in lighting installations is the first goal of smart lighting in Korea. The saving effect will be gained as soon as applying and operating a smart lighting system. What is more important is or challenging point is ROI period. For this time, the smart lighting system is very expensive and the ROI is somewhat long, maybe from 5 years to 7 years. So the ROI is somewhat long, but the efficiency and the result of saving energy is as soon as you can see as you install the smart lighting system.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. And do we have any more questions or comments from our online participants? I guess we're waiting. Hi. Okay, so please introduce yourself first and ask your question.
Hello, I'm Nuri Plans Writing Design Group Chief Jihan Kim. First, thank you for Professor Jang Woo-jin's good lecture. My question is, what items are included in the Korea Energy Corporation's High Efficiency Smart LED Lighting System certification?
Yeah. The smart lighting system must comprise with the smart LED lamps and the smart LED luminaires. And the essential functions of the system are including 8 other items. For a smart lighting system, the 8 other items are occupancy sensing, illuminance sensing, setting the maximum illuminance, time schedule control, and light zoning, alternate control methods, energy monitoring, and remote diagnosis. And optionally, you can add the security protection. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Has he answered all your questions, Jiang? Yeah? All right. If we have any more questions, okay. All right. We should wrap up lecture 3 with this. So, Professor Jang, do you have anything to add before you leave the stage?
Okay. Is there any question?
I guess there is one more. Okay. Hello. So please introduce yourself and ask your question.
예, 안녕하십니까. 저 누리.
I'm from Nuri Plan. I'm a lighting designer. My name is Chang Hyung-woo. I'm studying to become a lighting designer. Professor, thank you so much for a great presentation. I have a question. Smart LED or smart lighting terminology, but where can I get it?
I find the terms and definitions online or a published item. The answer is you can find it on the homepage of KEA, Korea Energy Agency. For now, it's only available in Korea. That's it. I'm sorry, but we will make in another language version. So just a minute, and you Korean can see the terms and definitions right now in the homepage. Thank you.
Okay. So I hope that answered your question, and make sure to visit the website to check it out. Okay. And we're going to give a few more seconds. Okay. Going once, twice. All right. All right. Professor Jang, thank you so much for your lecture and the answers to the questions. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you.